Hey dear viewer, this is the 9000th episode in which I'm going for Araxxi's Fang. Or at least that's how it feels. So may Zaros just for once smile upon me and grant me my wish. And let's immediately try my luck at Araxxi. And after the 6 kills I did today, I have to conclude that Zaros hasn't smiled upon me yet. Well, unless you count the fact that I didn't die. Anyway, as I already said, I'm not really lucky with the drops. But I guess you could consider the Onyx bolts to be a nice consolation prize. Fletcher's legwear, finally something good from Treasure Hunter. Well, not that I desperately wanted this, and I highly doubt I'll use it a lot, because I don't really fletch a lot. Also, it's thanks to this week's promotion that I knew I'd get it, because it lets you see through a chest, and that is pretty awesome. And to be clear, I didn't spend any resources on Treasure Hunter. And with resources I mean real life money or bonds. Well, if there's something I absolutely want, I may be inclined to use bonds, but I would never use real life money. Oh yeah, and as you can see I got Fletcher's legwear twice, so the duplicate parts converted into 10k cash. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Durzag slaughterhouse, where the Arut are the butchers and my teammates the cattle. Like this person right here. And even my experienced friend Goku 3SS3, well, he does have an excuse. He had 3 Arut on him, 2 with ranged, 1 with melee. I highly doubt there's much he could have done to survive. And if him dying wasn't worse enough, he actually happened to be our pet tank. But as the awesome person he is, he didn't bail on the team and actually instructed me how to take over. Now, I've never taken the role as pet tank before. Plus, I had no shield, and I was wearing Void. So I guess you guys can understand that I was a bit hesitant to actually go and take over. But I manned up, took one for the team and tanked Tuz. And it actually went a whole lot better than I expected. So a big thanks goes to Goku 3SS3 for advising me and motivating me to do this. However, I do still have a lot to learn. Because I ended up killing Tuz before Durzag reached 750k HP. And apparently someone got killed by Tuz. So for the odd chance that this person is watching this video, sorry. In the end, not a lot of teammates remained, so the group leader decided to kick everyone. In turn saving us too. I may have been saved in the first attempt, but none of that here. I guess something must have happened to the base tank, but what exactly, I don't know. Because all of a sudden Durzag rushed towards me, and right at that moment I activated Onslaught. I did have faith in my team and thought someone would take over, so therefore I didn't really react. I didn't want to waste my Onslaught, you know. Well, eventually it was wasted anyway, when I was wasted. Regardless, my team pulled off the kill, and that in my opinion is a remarkable feat. So, good job to them. It's a shame that I have to call out my loot at the entrance though. That means sadly no reroll. And I didn't get an armor piece either. So yeah, the PVM part of this episode is really starting bad. I guess it can only get better from here, right? Whoa, that one was close again. It was almost like a repeat of last episode. And we wouldn't want that, would we? It's actually the loot that looks like a repeat. And that takes care of Araxxi for the 12th time today. I believe that's a new personal record with magic. So that's something to be proud of. But the most surprising part of all is that I didn't even die. But there are times where I got close, as you've seen in the previous clip. And unfortunately, my new personal record wasn't rewarded with an exclusive. I would almost think that I deserve one here. But of course RNG doesn't work like that. Although I did get a nice amount of Onyx bolts and Serenic scales. And then there's that ancient effigy. That's worth a mention, I guess. Also, ever since I returned from that break, you know, the break in which I did 50 Triskelion keys, well, since then I killed Araxxi 100 times. And in that amount of kills I only managed to get 1 spider leg bottom. Well, when it comes to weapon pieces. So that just proves once more how bad my luck is. I honestly expected a lot more. Maybe the next 100 kills will be more rewarding. So we'll see about that. Oh, and it turns out that right now is Slayer weekend. And they haven't forgotten to include Soul Reaper, A very cool thing about that is that you can choose your Reaper assignments. So since my focus lies on Araxxi, I may as well make use of that. It would basically be free Reaper points. But I still need to complete my current task, and that is to loot 10 Bandos chests. This is what you see me complete right now. When it comes to rewards, RNG isn't in my favor here either. I didn't get a single Bandos piece, not even an elite clue. And the latter is something I would get frequently here, but not this time. 50 Reaper points in one go, now that's what I'm talking about. I'm loving Slayer Weekend already. I commend Jagex for scheduling a Slayer Weekend during Araxxi's easiest rotation. That's very considerate of them. And as I said before, that basically means even more free Reaper points. And I'm not calling it a day just yet at Araxxi. So let's hope for something better than just Reaper points. Something pointy? So if you've seen last episode, then you'll without a doubt remember my shameful death on phase 1. Well guys, it happened again. Yeah, there's a Dutch saying that applies to this situation, and that translates to a donkey doesn't hit the same rock twice. I guess I'm worse than a donkey. But yeah, I did learn a couple of things from this death, and that is to heal up. But even if I had high HP, I did use wild magic during the web dome at 200% enrage. So no matter what, that's extremely lethal. So the second thing I learned is to time my wild magic better. That is easier said than done, of course. And as I just said, I got to 200% base enrage, so that means that I killed Araxxi 10 times today. I'm pretty happy with that amount, so I'm going to call it quits. And the drops you see in the drop log, that's basically from the last 8 kills. The first 2 kills aren't included because I forgot to reset the drop log. But don't worry, you didn't miss out on anything. The drops were so horrible that I don't even remember them. So there weren't any exclusives in the 2 kills. And as you can see, there aren't any in the 8 remaining either. And I didn't get anything truly impressive. But I guess those coins and those onyx bolts are today's top loot. The elite clue that I'm doing right now comes from the skeletal horror. And if I remember correctly, that's the 6th elite clue in a row that he drops. So that's already a nice streak. And I wonder how far that can go. And yeah, the rewards, well, there's nothing really that positive to say. And I definitely don't want those kind of rewards to turn into a streak. So far in this episode, no Durzag fight went by without anyone dying. Well, this fight will feel right at home then. But thankfully the deaths occurred at the end of the fight. Like here, where our base tank dies. And here Durzag kills another teammate. And this teammate almost dies. Thankfully fate decided otherwise. And see guys, I don't always show deaths. Positive moments deserve to be shown too. So only 2 people died this time. And as I said earlier, fortunately when Durzag's health was below 200k. So that gave us a serious fighting chance. And of course the win was ours. In the end I do have to say that it was a reasonably smooth kill. Okay, so no good stuff in the initial loot, so of course I'll opt for a reroll. Well, the reroll certainly looks similar. And that's never a good thing. Those raw rocktails are always a welcome drop though. That's another Reaper task complete. And it earns me 30 more Reaper points. Now I had hoped to finish this task yesterday, but yeah, I kinda died, so yeah. Well, look at that, another pheromone. And if you only count the exclusive drops, then I guess this makes 4 in a row? Does that mean I win this game now? And what's my reward? Please let it be the item of my desire. This is my 10th kill of the day and I complete another Reaper task. Once again an easy earned 30 Reaper points. Oh, and I'm not done with Araxxi just yet. And that is one more Araxxi killed. That brings today's total to 11 Araxxi kills. And honestly, I'm fine with that amount. I'm also surprised that I have so much food left. Either I was very lucky or I'm getting the hang of using magic. I'm pretty sure I could take on one more Araxxi today, and who knows, maybe one more after that. But starting with 260% enrage, that would be a bit too much for me. And that's why I don't want to summon another yak. For just 1 or possibly 2 kills, that seems like a waste. And if I did try to do more, I'd probably end up dying with a yak full of food, which has happened to me quite frequently in the last couple of days. Well, I mean in the last week. And dying with a yak full of rocktails, that would be the biggest waste of all. And speaking about dying, none of that happened today. Maybe I should place a board somewhere with X days without dying, and then I could probably write a 1 on it. And you know what? I'm going to start using that in my videos from now on. Now let's discuss drops. As you've already seen, I got a minor exclusive today. Other than that, I got some onyx bolts too, and 2 Triskelion fragments. I think they are very nice. Though I may have heard that these are in the same loot pool, or however it's called, as something great. I assume that something great is a leg piece or a hilt, but don't take my word for it because I'm not even close to sure about this. It's pure speculation. Here's that board that I meant earlier. So that's 1 day without dying, and let's get that number way high. I haven't had much luck in PVM, but what a treasure hunter week it is. At the start of this episode I got double Fletcher's legwear, and now I get Lucky Bandos Tassets, also twice. These I decide to keep because then I can't get them from treasure hunter anymore. And that in turn means that getting that 200 million reward will be more likely to happen. Well, not that I ever hope to win that, but you never know, of course. Yeah, purple rewards, I don't see them very often. Though the last time I got a purple reward was a couple of episodes ago. Well, with the last I mean the one before this one, of course. And for another purple reward that I got, I have to go back maybe over a year. I can't even remember what that was actually. Anyway, that second Lucky Bandos Tassets was converted into 500k. So that's another nice addition. Let's do that aquarium clue now. Wow, 50k, that brings back memories. Thankfully the reward value is a bit higher this time. And with that, pretty much all I said about this reward. The items aren't that super. Well, the restores are. And that's yet another Soul Reaper task complete. Sadly, this is the last one of the Slayer weekend. So after this I can't choose my bosses anymore. Ah well, it's been a good weekend. So this is my 12th kill of the day, and just look at the food I have left. I guess this just proves that I wasn't lucky yesterday. So I'm really getting better at magic. If only the drops were getting better too. Today I got some onyx bolts and hydrix bolt tips. I guess those are nice. And then there's an effigy again. Make of that what you want. This is also the last day of the acid pool and shadow path rotation. In those 4 days I got 45 kills and I didn't get a single weapon piece. Not a single weapon piece. That's an appalling actuality. I had this Grand Slayer daily challenge again. This only requires me to kill 35 Slayer monsters. And since my current task is gargoyles, that's very easily finished. But as I said in a previous episode, gargoyles drop hard clues frequently. So I wanted to continue my task in hopes to maybe get one. But my task is over now and I sadly didn't get any clues. At least I finished that Slayer Tower contract, so that saves me a bank space. And earns me 64 KGP too. KGP! That almost sounds like the Soviet Union's state security. And guys, today no death. So that is 2 days without dying. And 2 days are better than 1. This is the first Durzag kill and will be the last of this episode that actually went peaceful. If you can ever call a fight peaceful at least. And judging by the amount of people that are left, I believe only 1 person died. I didn't notice it actually. Anyway, as for the loot, there's nothing special to mention here. When it comes to the reroll, it's the same story. Slayer weekend is over, so I can no longer choose my Reaper task. Requesting a task goes like it did before, and this time Death assigned me to kill Araxxi 8 times. So fortunately I didn't even have to choose. It's like Death knows me, but that's not really a surprise considering the amount of times I've died in the last week. But yeah, that's another easy 30 Reaper points. Hopefully tomorrow more of the same. This is my 9th kill of the day, and as you see I don't have a lot of food left this time. I totally blame that on the spider minions. Even with the fix that happened on Monday, it still stays a sucky path. But like 10% less sucky though. And again, I didn't get a weapon piece. I believe I'm now 127 kills dry. So it's starting to count now. Ah well, I got some onyxes today, so I can be happy with that. 3 days, no dying, let's go for 4. On this episode, I killed Araxxi 60 times, and I didn't get one step closer to anything. Well, except losing my mind. The only positive thing I can think of is that every kill gets me closer to the next threshold in the pet drop rate. Not that I care too much about that pet, but obviously I wouldn't dislike it as a drop. At all. Anyway, the hunt for that one pointy thing continues next episode. And you know what, from now on I won't be saying the proper name of the item until I get it as a drop. Well, thank you all for watching, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, subscribe to see more, and leave your constructive criticism, tips or suggestions in the comments. See you in the next video.